What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben, and welcome back to the bench for our final episode on our 1/48 scale Eduard P-39. Today we're going to jump in there and finish off this bird. Let's go ahead and grab the kit. Let's get started. So last episode, as you can see here, we went ahead and painted everything. We've got our olive drab up top, our neutral gray on the undersurface. We've got the white on the leading edges and all that stuff. So it's looking pretty snazzy. So today we're going to have to put on the propeller, get that all assembled. We have to put on the exhaust stacks, have to put on the door, as well as the landing gears, coat everything with the gloss coat, decal everything, and then finally weather. So we have quite a bit of work to do. So I think we're just going to jump right on in here, guys, and start working on the prop assembly. We need to get those wing walks painted as well. We are given decals for that, but I'd prefer to paint them on. I think it's easier and it looks a little bit better. So we're going to get that done and then get some extra assembly going, and well, we'll see how it goes. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and jump on in there. Let's start having some fun. Alright, everybody, we are back and we're going to go ahead and start moving on with a little bit of detail here. As you can see, we've already installed the landing gears and they went in decently well. The front gear was a little bit wonky to get in there between the two halves of the fuselage. Needed to trim down that locating tab just a little bit on both sides, but we got it in there and I think it's going to be solid. We should be good to go. So now we're going to add in our brake lines, and the nice thing about Eduard, they do give you some photo etch brake lines, which if you don't really want to do what I'm doing, that's super simple. They glue right into place and you're good to go as long as you like photo etch. For me, I don't really care for photo etch all that much, and I'm going to go ahead and add in something that you can actually see, which is 0.3mm solder. You can't see the photo etch, it's so tiny, you're just not going to notice it. So this way, we can add those in, paint them up black, and we're good to go. So not only do we have to work on those brake lines, we've got to get that gloss coat on here and start doing some prep work for the decals. So let's go ahead and jump back into that time lapse, push on, get the brake lines finished up, get the gloss coat on there, and well, we'll just start decaling, see how we go. Let's keep it moving. All right, everybody. So we are back and the aircraft has been decaled and gloss coated. The decals weren't necessarily all that great. I have a couple of complaints about them. However, now that everything is down, everything is gloss coated, we can now go ahead and start weathering up the different areas, start making this thing look a little bit more used. We do have our drop tank as well. And I gotta tell you, that decal was not easy to put on at all, but we are good now. We've got everything kind of squared away so we can start with our weathering. And that's going to be a little tricky because I am not necessarily as adept at weathering as I'd like to be. So to get the ball rolling here, guys, we're going to start off with some Tamiya weathering products. So we got this right here, this little compact, and we're going to use some of our AK panel liners as sludge washes. We've got some Tamiya panel liners as well. We've got some oil paints, regular paint, all sorts of stuff that we can do. So let's just give it a try. We're going to try to do as much stuff as we can. We're going to try as many different techniques as we know how to do, come in different panels, and we're going to kind of take each panel a little differently, maybe add in some pastels, maybe add in some weathering products. We're just going to see how we do. Again, a little challenging for me, but hey, you don't get better unless you try some new stuff. So let's jump in there. Let's finish off our P-39. All right, everybody. So we are back and we have finished off our Eduard P-39. I got to tell you, this was a really fun build, even though there were a couple of issues here and there, but we'll talk about them. So let's go ahead and show you the guys the finished product, and here it is, our 1/48 scale Eduard P-39Q. As my references showed me, didn't want to go overboard, tried to be subtle about it as I do like to do. Let's zoom in here and you can see some of the details. You'll notice a couple of different shades of green. I added in some washes. I added in, of course, some streaking here with some airbrushed black and then overcoated with a little bit of very thin sky gray. I did try to add in some streaking, some oil stains, a little bit of just regular old grime to different areas, giving it hopefully a little bit of a weathered look. And on the other side as well, same deal, a little bit of our streaking there with some oil staining and whatnot. Now I will say that this white demarcation line in the back here should be feathered according to our references, but I kept it like this. It's absolutely fine. I'm happy with it. Moving on down to the bottom of the aircraft, we've got our drop tank with that crazy decal that was really hard to get attached, but we'll also notice we got our gun pods on there and some streaking and staining as much as I could kind of figure out. Again, those stars and bars did not want to cooperate, but we got them on there. We tried our best, and overall, I think from 3 feet, we're looking all right. Going a little bit further here, we can zoom into the cockpit. As you can see, I did add in that scratch-built gun side. I have all of the different photo etch parts in there. I've got my charging lever for the 50 cals. We got our seat, we got our seatbelt, we got our radio. I tried to make it look as lived in as possible with a little bit of chipping around the edge of the door and around the inside of the cockpit. So I did my best, and I think it's actually not too bad. But with that being said, guys, let me go ahead and reiterate that this kit is actually a lot of fun to work on. The molds themselves were put out in the year 2000, which means they are 25 years old, and they still fit really, really well. There's a couple of issues, sure. Landing gears are a little wonky. There's a couple of fit issues around the front intakes on the wings, but for the most part, it's actually a very buildable kit. However, with the recent release of the Arma line of P-39s, we might have to go back and check out one of those because I hear that those are far more accurate than what we've got here in the Eduard kit. So that's going to have to go on our build list for sure. However, though, don't get me wrong, this kit did build up nicely. I had a lot of fun with it. There are a couple of areas like, for example, the fuselage wing joint. You got to be a little careful on that. The front intakes, have to watch those as well. And then, of course, the doors don't necessarily always want to fit all that well. Aside from that, this is a great little model. The PE set, of course, if you like PE parts, they're here, they're good, they work well. I really can't complain. This was a fun one. And of course, you remember that this is actually one of 2 P-39s that we've got to build. So we're going to go ahead and work on that second P-39, but I don't think I'll do it for Military Mondays. I don't want to inundate you guys with P-39s, and I'm thinking about rolling that P-39 into a different build series altogether. But that is it for us today, guys. Thank you so much for coming along here on our Eduard 1/48 scale P-39Q. You know the drill. Get out there, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool, and we'll see you back here on our next episode for more modeling adventures. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.